I guess I tell them all the same, and I've got 13 grandchildren. 9 of them are boys, and most of them are hockey players. But all I've been able to tell them is just to, conditioning. If they want to be hockey players, that's what they've got to do more than anything else. Skating and conditioning. They got to learn to skate, even if they have to take special instructions. Fortunately, I've got one young grandson that's just an unbelievable little skater. But that's what I'd say if they want to be hockey players. But don't take it too seriously either. I try to teach them to take a break. Like even these little kids, I had one nephew that played 80 games a year for 3 years, and then he turned 12. Well, that's just ridiculous in my books. You got to take a break from that sort of stuff. Play soccer in the summertime, play baseball or something, but don't play hockey all year round.
I can only tell you this, that they have to be strong. You just don't go, well, it's pretty obvious now that anyone who are competing in hockey, they do their weights, they become very strong. But what you do the night before is what you're going to do the next night. So you either focus and you either give up certain things. If you want to be good and the best, you got to give that stuff up and you got to focus. You don't have to be a straight and narrow. You can have a good time. You got to take care of your body and you got to take care of your mind, and remember that you are representing your town and your team, and that's, you always get along with the coach if you feel that way.
Well, my advice would be for him to build up his muscles. Like when my grandchildren started to play hockey, I got them the hand grips to strengthen their hands and their wrists and their muscles here, and also the stretch cords. And I told them to build up their muscles and keep in shape. Run every day.
No smoking, no drinking, no drugs. I put that right down there, emphatic about it there. Go out and do and try your best, adds a little bit there. You get a gold medal if you're dedicated, you work at it, and don't get disappointed. Keep at it. At least I've signed that 1,000 times when I send those letters to Europe. They always want me to put a little message on it, and I do that. But I emphasize that. No smoking, no drinking, and no drugs of any kind or do that, and work hard.
I don't think the kids that are playing minor hockey, whether they're in Trail Nelson or wherever, they don't respect one another. I've been to lots of minor hockey games, bantam and midget, and they go out there and they want to really hurt one another. And I think that's the wrong concept that's coming from coaching or whatever it is. When we played hockey, we got to know some of the players we were playing, and we got to be very good friends with them. But on the ice, it was a different story. You played hard to win, but you didn't actually go out there to try to hurt somebody. And I think watching some of them, they have no respect for the coaching that they get. They don't appreciate some of them. They just do complete opposite things that they're told to do. And if you want to be a hockey player, you have to make a decision that you're going to respect your coaches and do what they tell you to do, and then maybe something will happen to your career. But if you're one of the ones that doesn't want to do this and won't do that and wants to go out and drink all night and drive around in cars and just carry on, then you're not going to go anywhere. You've got to have respect for your community you're playing in and the people that are in that community that are supporting you playing hockey. And in some instances, it doesn't happen.
Oh, absolutely, and you know what? It's no different than maybe the path that I took. You work hard at it. You set goals for yourself. You possibly could idolize someone, and just set sights on something, because goals can be achieved, through hard work. I honestly believe that. And if you think positively, and I'm a positive thinker, and if you tell yourself, hey, I'm going to be able to do that, and you work hard at it, you'll achieve it. And that's the advice that I can give to anyone, be it for sport, playing hockey or baseball or or just trying to achieve to be a doctor or a musician or whatever. Set those goals, work hard at it, practice at it, and you need breaks along the way, as I said before. But if you think positively, those breaks will happen.
Excellent.
I think it was better passing hockey. There was none of this here shooting it in the corner and 5 men jumping in on top of you like they have now. I mean, it's, you couldn't body check a man within 5 feet of the boards. Well, we had tough competition there. Most of those teams that we had were all Canadian teams. And they were getting about $35 a week to play hockey for these European towns. So we actually, a couple of the fellows I played against in London, I'd played against in the previous year's junior series. Oh, I skied, yeah. I started, actually, the first time I skied was in Zurich in Switzerland. I rented skis and went up the top of the mountain. And I'd never had skis on coming from the prairie. And you'd point them downhill and get going too fast, and then you throw yourself into a snowbank to stop. And I knew then I was going to ski when I quit playing hockey. And I did, which I did in '52, or about the time.
Bobby was lucky he played with me.
Well, why is that?
No, I'm only kidding.
Why is that? Why do you say that?
I'm just making a joke of it. No, Bobby was a good coach. He coached, played and coached him. Oh, he was a real hustler. He gave 110% all the time. Yeah. Bobby did very well.
Oh, do I ever. I remember when Frankie was playing senior hockey, I guess him and this George Barefoot used to have it out for each other. So Frankie used to go in forechecking, and I think this one time, Harry Barefoot, whether it was intentional or not, I don't know, he kind of shot towards Frankie's head. So for years after that, Frankie would go in with one hand in front of the side of his face, you know, just in case somebody shot the puck. But he was a work. He wasn't the smoothest skater and all that, but he worked and worked. Yeah, yeah, he had quite a career. He played in St. Mike's there, and of course, in those days, not too many players went to the NHL. Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to talk about Joe Benoit. Joe Benoit, trail smoke eater. Came from St. Albert. And he came to trail in '36, but he couldn't play that year because you had to put a whole year in as a resident. Okay? So 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, he played for the Smoke Eaters. Didn't go. And he had chances to go. He went to try out for New York Americans a whole bit. But he had a buddy named Elmer Locke from St. Albert, and Terry Reardon, who played for the Montreal Canadiens, and he married the boss's daughter, Selke. So he was in. So guess what? He picked up Joe Benoit, Elmer Locke, and he went, and Joe Benoit left and went to Thing. Now we're talking about and that's when they played their last, I think 1941 was the last league game. Lethbridge was in the league, Calgary, you know, and they had a pretty good league, but then it all disbanded. And all they did was play commercial games, you know, from 43 to 45. That was in our area. But Joe Benoit, that's a story in itself. Maurice Richard was being interviewed, and he says, "Hey, Maurice, how did you get number 9? He says, "Oh, some guy was there, and then he went away, and I got number 9 in 1943. But that was Joe Benoit. He scored 18 goals the first year, 24 the second year, 30, as much as Howie Morenz. Guess who the first line was? Joe Benoit, Toe Blake, and Elmer Locke. But he went to war, and the Frenchmen were exempt then. They didn't have to go to war. So he was away for 3 years, came back, hurt his back, ended up in Thing. That's Joe Benoit.
I got to carry that trophy home. I put it on my lap on the airplane, and I carried it into Germany and into Paris. I carried it back to Castlegar, brought it into Trail. I lived in Glenmere at the time, and I took it home, and we had a little step at the back of our house, and I put that box on the step. Went in the house, never saw the box again.
We played in Paris, and I refereed. I refereed the game, yeah.
How did that happen?
Well, I just wanted to, so I give Fletch 10-minute misconduct. Threw him out of the game. He wanted to drink anyway. No, it's just a little joke.
Oh, the general. Yeah. The German general. We used to call him the SS. Great, I'll tell you. I just look back. Unbelievable. That had lots to do with it. That had a hell of a lot to do with it.
So he was really the heart and soul of that team, would you say?
Well, you have to have a leader.
Yeah.
You know. I mean, there's leaders on the ice, but I mean, if he doesn't lead, and management too. Hugo DiBiagio was incredible. I mean, he tangled with Bobby a lot, you know, for the hockey players, and sometimes Bobby had to calm down, really. But the problem, because he was in Montreal, so we're doing stops and starts in Czechoslovakia and Prague in an outdoor rink, cold, and we're all doing stops and starts, and he's leaning on the boards. And naturally, we go, oh, we can see Bobby. I mean, it's cold, but his face is turning red. This guy's not doing stops and starts. Claude, what the hell are you waiting for? Claude says, Bobby, Jacques Plante don't do stops and starts. Bobby said, you're not Jacques Plante. Get out there, go home. He did stops and starts pretty quick. You're not Jacques. That's what he said. Jacques Plante don't do stops and starts. He said, you're not Jacques Plante.
So, after that, did Cyr fit on the team, or was he?
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, he was great all the time. Not only after that, he was okay. No, Claude was.